Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stacy. This is going to be my video of the best books that I read in 2024. Yeah, 2024. I had a really good reading year. I had a lot of books that I really loved. I'm not sure how many is on this list. Did I count them? I think I did. Hang on. 15. So 15. 15's really good. That's, more than one super good book a month for the year. So yeah, and it looked like as I was going through Goodreads and kind of checking these out, it looks like January was great and December was great. So I like bookend the year with really good books. So let's just get going with the video. The very first book that I loved in 2024 was Written on the Wind by Elizabeth Camden. That was book 2 in the Blackstone Legacy trilogy. I haven't read book 3. I loved book 1, but book 2 was absolutely amazing. I really loved the characters of book 2. It featured a very smart woman from New York City and a man from Russia. And they had this amazing friendship throughout the years, and they only had spoken through telegraphs, and they were like business partners. And then in book 2, they meet and there's a romance, and it's one of my favorite romances of all time. I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun. I loved all of the scenes in Russia from, I can't remember the guy's name because I read this in January, but from his point of view, absolutely loved these characters, and this was such a fun kind of adventurous story. Really great Christian historical fiction. The next one I read that I really loved was Just the Nicest Person by Christy Barritt. This is book 1 of the True Crime Junkies series, and I have now read 7 of these books, and I will just go ahead and say they are all 4- and 5-star books for me. So I love the whole series, but this first book got it started. I really loved the setting of this. It takes place in Alaska, and the main character is a woman who is an ice road trucker. And I am obsessed with the TV show Ice Road Truckers. I have watched that show for years. It is like my comfort show. And I've never read a book featuring an ice road trucker before. And there is a fun cast of characters. There's a bunch of characters in this book. They all come together to create a true crime podcast together. And throughout the series, you get to learn more about each individual character and their bond and relationship they have with each other. And each story features a different crime that they are trying to solve. The whole series is set in Alaska, and they kind of go around to different places in Alaska, so you get to experience all of that. I love it. I think it's great. It's so well written. One of my favorite series. The next one was a nonfiction book, and that is The Wager, A Tale of Shipwreck, Mutiny, and Murder by David Grann. I gave this one 5 stars, and I wrote well done on Goodreads. This one is exactly what it says it is. It was the story of the mutiny on the Bounty. So if you know anything about that story, absolutely fascinating. That was a rabbit hole I went down while reading this book. I did tons of research on that whole situation. It is a wild story. For nonfiction, this really read like fiction. Oh, it's getting so dark out. I'm sorry. But yeah, this read like fiction, and it really held my attention. It was very fast paced. I learned a whole lot. So yeah, I really recommend that book if you like books about the ocean, the sea, ships, history. Loved it. The next one was Of Love and Treason by Jamie Ogle. Gave this 5 stars. I loved the story, the faith content. It made me cry multiple times. This was a historical fiction account of Saint Valentine, the actual man, Valentine. It was his story, and it also featured a woman who was blind. This book was just so full of faith and was gut-wrenching and made me want to be a better person. How about that? It's one of the best Christian fiction books I've ever read. One of my top 5. Next is When the Flames Ravaged by Rhonda Dragomir. Also gave it 5 stars. For this one on Goodreads, I wrote it was devastating and inspirational. My heart was ripped out. I cried multiple times. I related to the character's question of faith and I was shocked that this was her debut novel because it was so well done. This one was about the Barnum and Bailey circus tent that burnt down with a bunch of people in it. It's based off of a true story. And I want to say this took place in like the 1930s or 40s. This is Christian historical fiction. It was gut-wrenching. Absolutely loved it. Loved the faith content in this. Fascinating story. Highly recommend. The next one I loved was The Maid by Nita. Prose. I gave this one 4 stars. This is secular mystery, but it was kind of written like it was a Christian. I think the author must be Christian because of the faith content that was in this book. The setting of it was a hotel in New York City. The main character is high-functioning autistic, and I love that because she was portrayed so well, and I felt a lot of emotions while reading this book. Also, her grandmother, the main character's grandmother, was fantastic. She had tons of faith. Yeah, for a mystery, for a secular mystery, this book was so good. I was so invested. Next one was Pages of Promise by Jessica Ashley. This is Coastal Book 1, and I gave this one 4 stars. I loved the setting of this book. It takes place in Maine, and the main character, she moves into a lighthouse in Maine, and weird things are going on in the lighthouse, and she's being stalked, and there is a company run by former military veterans, and they do like security, and they get involved to try to help her to figure out what is going on. It's a really good romance. It's a contemporary Christian contemporary romance. Had really great faith in this book. I read the book after this as well, and it was also amazing. Highly recommend. Next one is Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. Gave this 5 stars. I wrote that this was so clever and so immersive. This book is a murder mystery that takes place on a train that is riding from like one end of Australia to the other. The scenery is amazing. I would recommend listening to this on audio because it's Australian, so you get the accent, and it was funny. And you felt like you were on the train with the characters trying to figure out what was going on. I have never read a mystery like this. The author gives you all the clues that you need to solve it. And I did not solve it, but I love that he did that. So yeah, I love that book. Okay, up next is The Garden Girls by Jessica R. Patch. This is FBI Strange Crimes Unit Book 3. I did not read books 1 or 2. I didn't realize it was part of a trilogy, but I was able to understand everything about the story and I wasn't confused. There were mentions of things in the first 2 books, but that was okay. I got through it. I gave it 5 stars. I wrote that it was very creepy, very high stakes, a unique plot. This involves a cult. It gives Silence of the Lambs vibes, and it had really great faith content. I cried at the end of this book, gave all the emotions. It was outstanding, and it also has like the most beautiful cover ever. Next one was one that everybody else on the internet has already read except for me, and that is The Cider Shop Rules by Julie Ann Lindsey. I gave this one 5 stars. This is a cozy mystery set at an apple orchard. I was going to say Christmas tree farm. It's an apple orchard. It's really good. It's just, a cozy mystery, but I love the characters. I loved the crime. I love the setting. So, yep, love that book. Next is A Bond of Briars by Erin Phillips. I gave that one 5 stars. This is very unlike anything I ever read, and I'm not even sure why I picked it up, but I'm so glad I did. This was a fantastical retelling of the Book of Ruth from the Bible. I normally don't go for like fantasy elements, but this was so well done. It was so interesting. I was completely sucked into the story. It's like a dark retelling. Yeah, know that going in. And it is definitely, parts of it are very different from the Book of Ruth, but it all kind of comes together at the end, and it has a really great message of light overcoming darkness. I loved this book. After that one, I have A Hobbit, A Wardrobe, and a Great War by Joseph Locante. This also is nonfiction, and I gave this one 5 stars. This one is about J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis and how being in World War I shaped them as authors. Absolutely fascinating. I learned so much from this book. Then the next one was Callie and the Pumpkin Seed by Sarah Beran. Gave this one 5 stars. This is, I wrote on Goodreads, probably the best retelling I've ever read. I wrote so adorable, love the characters and all of the baking. This is the most perfect book for fall. Does not get any better than this. This is a Cinderella retelling about a girl who owns a pumpkin patch and a bakery, and a stranger comes into the bakery and is super cute and there's really great banter, and then you come to find out that he is the prince. You know the story of Cinderella, but it has such a fun fall twist. It's just so cute and so adorable. I really loved this. And now we have swung around into December, where I read The Mystery of Mistletoe Hall by Benedict Brown. This was book 4 in this murder mystery series, but you did not need to read the other books before this one to understand. It was written as a standalone. This is one of the most Christmassy books I've ever read. It is a cozy mystery, and it had all of the Christmas vibes. It was so well done with Christmas, and it put me in the Christmas spirit. Even though you're in a locked room English manor murder mystery, all the Christmas vibes. It was absolutely outstanding. And I listened to this one on audio, and I love the narration. And so the last one that I read that I absolutely loved this year was Dragonfly Ashes by C.C. Warrens. This is book 2 of the Cherry Creek Mystery series. I gave this one 5 stars. I loved it. I loved the continuation from the first book. I guess I can't talk a whole lot about the plot, but there is found family in this book, and I didn't realize how much I loved that as a plot or as a genre. I don't know. Found family is where it's at. I absolutely love that. A woman adopts a child, and her parents take this kid in as their own grandkid, and I just love how everything played out. It was so nice. There's a very slow burn romance in this, and I really loved how that was done, because I feel like that was authentic and it made sense the way that was done. I loved the characters. It has some really wonderful characters in here, and it takes place during Halloween time, so it's a great fall read. Really loved this book. Really love C.C. Warrens. She's a lot of fun. Anyway, I'm so sorry for this lighting. The sun keeps going in and out, and I don't know what to do about that. But yeah, those are all of my favorite books from 2024. I read lots of other books that I really did like, but as I was scrolling through Goodreads, I just kind of wrote down the books that I lit up over as I came across them and thought about them. These are the ones that I lit up over, and I thought, yeah, I really loved reading that book. That was a great book. So that's what I wrote down. That's what made the list. But I don't think I'm going to do my worst books or my biggest disappointments. I tried to make a list for that, but honestly, I came up with 4 or 5 books, and I didn't think that was very many. And some of those books I don't really want to talk about again. I've talked about them already in my wrap-up videos, and I don't love calling these books out, or I don't love it. It makes me feel kind of weird. It makes me feel bad, I guess. So I don't really want to do that video. Maybe I'll do it in the future, but I don't want to do it now. So yeah, just my best books. That's all you get. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. And if you had a favorite book, let me know that. Yeah, that's all I've got for this video. I will see you guys soon. Bye.